hippocampi than the non-cab drivers. And most interestingly, the cab drivers' experience and knowledge correlated with the size of their posterior hippocampus. So what we have there is just a fantastic illustration of brain plasticity, the brain literally changing shape in response to environmental demands, which is also in part driven by gene expression. Now, we've seen this in many studies now. We see it in studies of violin players' brains and braille readers' brains and meditation practitioners' brains. We see the brain dramatically changing shape in response to practice and development of a certain skill. And we know that brain plasticity is going on at a much more subtle level with absolutely everything we do. Every thought you have, every memory you have, every memory you already have that you re-remember, laying down new pathways, changing subtly and then not so subtly the shape of your brain. So what does this mean for how we become who we are? What it means is that everything about how we become who we are is a process. I'm not saying we control that process completely, or we can ever hope to, though the more we learn about it, the more we can control it, at least in small parts. But you could take Albert Einstein and you could clone Albert Einstein, 100% of the same genes, and you really don't know what you're going to end up with. This is the law of gene-environment interaction. This is the law of gene expression and brain plasticity. Of course, there are going to be physical similarities with 100% of the same genes, but we really do not know what a clone of Albert Einstein would look like, talk like, think like, how smart he would be, what his personality would be like, how he would feel. The irony is that we're very fond of saying when we see someone who's not doing so well in school, he's not going to be an Einstein. Well, you could clone Albert Einstein, he's not going to be an Einstein. You could clone him 10 times, and that's going to be 10 different people, none of whom are going to be much like, I would suspect, the original Albert Einstein. Now, there are two ways that I know this. One is, I've already talked about the biology of gene expression and brain plasticity. The second way is that we've actually cloned cats and other animals. I mostly just wanted to include the slide to see how big a cat could be. I think this could be the cat that eats San Francisco. So this is Rainbow. She was cloned in 2001. It all started when her pet owner didn't want to lose her forever, et cetera, but she managed to convince scientists at Texas A&M University to clone her. And what do you think her clone looks like? I am not making this up. I got these pictures from the person who cloned these two cats. Now, actually, they're roughly the same age in this picture because they allowed CC was her name, carbon copy is what they named the clone, to grow up, and so now we have some good pictures of them both as adults. So this is just a wonderful, picture tells 1,000 words example of what gene expression is, how powerful it is, and how we've got to just get rid of this whole idea of clones, and this whole idea of innateness actually really also needs to be wiped away. So coming back to the quote from the bell curve, putting it all together, success and failure in the American economy and all that goes with it are increasingly a matter of the genes that people inherit. Well, we've got to change that pretty dramatically. In fact, in reality, success is a matter of the process that we tap into. And that's what this is all about. That's why we're all here. Now, are there differences between us in genes? Obviously there are. Do those differences have influence? Of course they do. Genes influence everything. But we cannot talk about good and bad genes because the goodness and badness of genes depends on the lives we lead. When a parent reads to a child, when a long-distance runner runs up a mountain trail, when a violinist practices a concerto for 2.5 hours, they are tailoring their own individual biology to suit what they want. There's a lot more to say about the science of human potential, but the fundamental point I want to leave you with tonight, which is a very optimistic point, I think, is that the human genome and the human brain are actually designed to adapt to environmental circumstances. That's really an inherent part of their design. So with that, I think that we can push this big elephant out of the room. To me, that says that TED, the whole idea behind TED is vindicated. What TED is about, what parents are about, what schools are about, what every part of our civilization that we love is about, is helping us tailor our own lives and our own biology to what suits us best, what we decide suits us best. And you know, we're used to reading basically every day in the paper something about how genes impact our lives. And that is true. Genes do impact our lives. And those stories are sometimes overblown, but still fundamentally true. But what you don't read in the paper every day, but we should, is that it's just as true to say that our lives actually impact our genes. And to me, there is no more encouraging or inspiring idea out there. Thanks so much.